just minutes to escape the path of a fast-moving wildfire.
We never ever expected 6,000 acres per hour.
The East Troublesome fire exploding in size, growing more than 100,000 acres in 24 hours.
Did a lot of structure protection last night, put a lot of line around some houses.
And now evacuees sit and wait.
A lot of destruction coming through the mountain.
Hoping their homes are still standing this morning.
Thank you for joining us on Denver 7 News at 11. I'm Jessica Porter. In just moments, we expect an update on the East Troublesome fire in Grand County. So let's get to the latest on our fire danger. 2 fires triggered new evacuation orders in the last 24 hours. It's a dangerous situation in Grand County where the East Troublesome fire blew up, growing more than 100,000 acres since this time yesterday. The county sheriff says it burned about 100 acres every minute in the strong winds. It's now the 4th largest wildfire in state history at more than 125,000 acres. And more homes in Boulder County near the destructive Calwood fire are under evacuation orders as crews anticipate wind and fire activity. Denver 7 has team coverage of our fire danger that only seems to get worse by the day. Meteorologist Stacy Donaldson is tracking the wind conditions that are fueling these fires. Denver 7's Micah Smith is reporting from Boulder County where those new evacuation orders are in place. But we want to start with Eric Lufer, live in Grand County, where authorities had to rescue people from the path of the East Troublesome fire as it ripped across the area near Granby and Grand Lake. Eric.
Just a dire situation here and terrible news. The winds have picked up. They picked up about an hour ago. Very gusty here. This is our vantage point. We're in Granby looking northwest, and you can see the extreme fire activity that we're seeing right now. The fire was even active overnight, which was surprising because usually fires lay down at night when it cools down and the winds die down, but not this time. The fire was active all night. And the image is just incredible. I even talked with some firefighters.
A lot of destruction coming through the mountain, though.
That's firsthand information coming from a firefighter who was on the front lines of the East Troublesome fire overnight.
You got flame lengths jumping off the top of the ridges, 300-400 foot flame lengths coming off.
Dry and windy conditions, the perfect ingredients for this fire to rage out of control. Fire officials saying flames were scorching land at 6,000 acres an hour yesterday.
One of them catchy type fires, you got to be on your toes.
Images have been pouring in from residents who were quickly forced to get out of the Grand Lake area, many spending the night in their cars.
Spending the night and seeing if we got a home to go to when it gets to that point.
When you got out yesterday, explain to me what it was like.
Very hurried. Grab what you need and go.
Fire activity remained high even before sunup today, a sign this fire isn't backing down anytime soon. And that's leaving evacuees with more questions than answers.
We don't know. We don't know anything, to tell you the truth, just bits and pieces. So that's the biggest fear, of what damage it's caused.
Rocky Mountain National Park is now closed to the public. The whole park is closed off because there's just too much fire activity on the west side of Rocky Mountain National Park near Grand Lake. The winds just continue to whip around here from Granby. The smoke billowing yet again, surely being seen from the metro area. Terrible conditions, not helping firefighters at all. This fire was supposed to be fully contained by November 10th. Everything has changed now after what we saw yesterday, and it's not getting any better today. I'm Eric Lufer, Denver 7.
Unbelievable scene behind you. Thank you, Eric. The governor will address the state's response to the fires with a 1:15 news conference, and we'll stream it. The largest fire in state history, the Cameron Peak fire, is burning just 11 miles to the north of the East Troublesome fire. And each fire has no containment lines at their closest points. And now Rocky Mountain National Park is fully shut down for safety reasons. Firefighters will be focused on making sure everyone is out of the path of both of these fires and making sure they don't merge. Thick smoke from the East Troublesome fire is already causing visibility issues for Cameron Peak firefighters. But crews are gaining ground. At about 207,000 acres, Cameron Peak is at least 55% contained, and some pre-evacuation orders are now lifted. And fire crews across the state are watching and waiting for some much needed snow in the forecast. But there are still several days of wind to deal with before that snow arrives. Meteorologist Stacey Donaldson is standing by the wind forecast in these fire zones. Stacey.
It is going to continue to remain windy here for the rest of today. We have red flag warnings for high fire danger up into the foothills and the mountains. And we also have air quality advisories here for the Front Range. So that wind is going to stick with us. Also off to the west, you see that starting at Idaho Springs back toward Leadville, up toward Granby, we still have that red flag warning in effect, and it stretches all the way down into southern Colorado. But these winds really, as we were talking to the firefighters, and they were saying, yes, they weren't letting up at all overnight. And still high winds from Berthoud Pass into Granby and Estes Park. And these are the current wind gusts. They have been going higher than this as we've gone through the last couple of hours. Wildfire smoke continues to stretch from Granby to Fort Collins all the way up into northeastern Colorado. We will continue to see that smoke filter down here into the Front Range, which is why we have that air quality watch in effect, or air quality warning. Drizzle and a few flakes are possible in through tonight. A little small system coming through, and this is before the huge storm system coming this weekend is going to arrive. We'll talk more about how much snow we expect with this storm system coming up.
Thank you, Stacey. Wind is the worry in Boulder County, where 2 fires have forced people out of their homes. The Left Hand Canyon fire and the Calwood fire. For some, those evacuation notices came just in time. At least 26 homes were lost in the Calwood fire. Denver7's Micah Smith reports from Boulder County near Lyons, where new evacuation orders are in place right now.
One of the main concerns overnight was the wind. Firefighters were expecting 15 to 20 mile per hour wind, but despite that, they were able to contain the Calwood fire a little bit more than the day before. Now, in the path of the fire was Lyons Park Estates, so that community was evacuated yesterday. The community is on Highway 7 just south of town, and residents had about 2 hours to gather their things and get out. The sheriff's office says things weren't particularly dangerous at that time, but they wanted to avoid doing evacuations in the middle of the night. I talked to one resident here at Lyons Park Estates. He said he had to leave his home, and I asked him if he was worried about his home. He said he is, but at the end of the day, he was at nature's mercy.
Well, there's only so much you can do. My youngest daughter came up, and we packed a bunch of stuff the other day because she was worried about what's going to happen. So I've got my Mustang full of stuff in her garage and on mine.
As far as roadblocks are concerned, the sheriff's office says they will be checking with fire officials today to see if any of those can be lifted. Fire officials say they are very pleased with containment efforts so far with the Calwood fire. Even though it's extremely smoky in the area, they say most of that smoke is from the East Troublesome fire. Reporting in Boulder County, Micah Smith, Denver 7.
So many homes have been lost in this late fire season. We're waiting to learn what fire crews find in the burn scar of the East Troublesome fire. Dozens confirmed destroyed in Boulder County, and we could see hundreds of structures lost in the Cameron Peak fire, many of them homes. And that includes Seth Knight's cabin. He's now sleeping on a futon in his welding shop until he can rebuild. But a Denver man is rallying the community, asking for RV donations for Cameron Peak fire victims.
Surely we can find an RV for these folks. They've lost everything they own. They don't have anywhere to stay, and they want to rebuild up there.
Woody Faircloth's nonprofit emergencyrv.org gives RVs to those affected by devastation until they can get back on their feet. If you'd like to donate an RV or you're in need of help, head over to thedenverchannel.com for more information. So many of you have reached out asking how you can help the victims of our wildfires. We've launched a new fundraising campaign through Denver7 Gives. Head to thedenverchannel.com, click Denver7 Gives under the drop-down menu, then click Help Colorado Wildfire Victims. All donations will go directly to help Colorado wildfire victims. We are working with the United Way of Larimer County and Community Foundation in Boulder to ensure those who have lost so much get much needed support. We want to turn now to the coronavirus situation here in Colorado. Another high case count in the latest update from the state health department. 1,267 cases confirmed yesterday. But we are seeing an increase in testing, so that is helping our positivity rating go down. It is still above the 5% threshold set by the World Health Organization. Our hospital capacity remains at 6%, with 532 COVID patients receiving hospital care. Given the concern over rising cases, the Adams County 12 school district will move 6th through 12th graders to remote learning. They are currently under a hybrid learning model. The change is effective immediately. Students in kindergarten through 5th grade will continue with in-person learning. And today, Aurora Public Schools is expected to announce plans for its younger students. High school students will remain on remote learning through at least November 13th. We have an update on the unemployment situation fueled by the pandemic. More than 223,000 Coloradans are receiving unemployment benefits. 5,700 people filed first-time claim applications last week, and nearly 218,000 people filed continued claims.